Dear students, welcome back to my channel. In this class, let us derive an important 5 mark derivation, that is expression for current in a conductor in terms of drift velocity. Okay, what is a drift velocity? In the last class we have discussed about it, isn't it? Drift velocity means the average velocity with which the free electrons in a conductor move in the direction opposite to the applied electric field is called drift velocity, isn't it? I have said about two types of velocities. One is thermal velocity or thermal speed, and second one is drift speed. Thermal speed is of the order 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 meter per second, whereas this drift speed is having a velocity of 10 power minus 4 to 10 power minus 5 meter per second, which is very less, isn't it? Now, in this class, let us derive, so how much of electrical current will pass through the conductor, so in terms of drift velocity. See here, as I wrote earlier in the board, on the board, see, I have considered one conductor in the form of a cylinder. It is just like a wire, cylindrical wire. So if you go for macroscopic view, it looks like a cylinder. Hence, I have wrote there. Let L be the length of the conductor. Let capital A be the area of cross section of that conductor. Now, what I have done, I have connected the left side of the conductor to positive terminal of the battery, which is a source of potential difference, and I have connected the right side end of the conductor to the negative terminal of the battery. Here, the longer line represents high potential, that is positive, and this shorter line represents low potential. As I said in the last class, current always flow from higher potential to lower potential, isn't it? Therefore, so this is the direction of a conventional current. The direction of conventional current, so is from positive terminal of the battery to negative terminal of the battery outside, but inside it will move from negative to positive. Let us discuss about it later. Okay, anyhow, here this is the direction of applied electric field, external electric field. Okay, sorry, not external electric field, it is the direction of applied electric field, that's it. So here these electrons will move from this end to this end, opposite to the direction of applied electric field. Here the applied electric field will generate inside this conductor. Okay, opposite to the direction of electric field, the electrons will drift. So that is what the concept of drift velocity says. Here, while deriving the expression for electric current through the conductor in terms of drift velocity, you must consider one sentence. Without that sentence, so you may lose 1 mark if you won't write this sentence. Means very important sentence. See, let small n be the total number of free electrons per unit volume of the conductor. This sentence you should write, must and should sentence. Let small n be the total number of free electrons per unit volume of the conductor. Okay. Now, therefore, the total number of electrons. Therefore, the total number of electrons in the conductor is equal to what? N multiplied by the volume of the conductor, isn't it? For 1 meter cube, N. For this volume of the conductor, N into volume, that's it. Therefore, it is N into volume of the conductor is given by area into length. So this is the total number of free electrons present in the conductor. So let us represent it with capital N. So actually number of electrons are represented by small n. Since I have represented already here N as the total number of free electrons per unit volume, I have considered capital N. Therefore, the total charge flowing through the conductor is Q is equal to N into E. That is what I said. In place of small n, I have used capital N. What is N here? Capital N. N into A into L. Therefore, it becomes N A L E. So, this is the total amount of charge flowing through the conductor. Okay. Therefore, similarly, the current flowing through the conductor. Is, we have this formula, I is equal to Q by T, isn't it? So write the value of Q here. What you get here is NALE divided by T. Okay. Here, see, L is the total length of the conductor and T is the time taken by the electrons to flow from this end to that end. So it is nothing but L divided by T. I can replace it with drift velocity. Therefore, it gives you NAVDE. This is the expression for electric current flowing through the conductor in terms of drift velocity. Okay, very simple derivation. Please remember, I will repeat briefly. Let small l be the length of the conductor we have selected. So the conductor is of the form cylindrical. So let capital A be the area of cross section of the conductor. Here, so when the left side of the conductor is connected to positive and right side is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, so this end will be at a positive potential, this end will be at a negative potential. Therefore, as we know well about the drift velocity, the direction of drift velocity is always opposite to the direction of applied electric field. Hence, the electrons will drift opposite to the direction of E. Here, one sentence we should consider and we should write on the paper, that is, let small n be the total number of free electrons present in the conductor per unit volume. Okay. Next, therefore, total number of electrons in the conductor is N into volume of the conductor. That is just like this. For N, for 1 meter cube, N number of electrons. For V, what is the total number of electrons means? We take capital N and if we solve this, then we get N into V by 1. So that is what I have done here. The total number of free electrons in the conductor is given by N is equal to N into volume of the conductor. Volume of the conductor is given by area into length. Therefore, total charge flowing through the conductor is given by Q is equal to NALE. Similarly, the total current flowing through the conductor is given by I is equal to Q by D. On solving, I is equal to NAVDE we get. Here, length divided by time, that gives us the concept of drift velocity. Okay, for this you get 5 marks. See, suppose in the derivation, if they ask you to find the expression for electric current in a conductor in terms of relaxation time, for example. So what is the case? Let's see. In terms of relaxation time. What is relaxation time? Relaxation time is the time interval between two successive collisions of the electrons. Okay, fine. Here I is equal to NAVDE. We have got NA. What is the expression for VD? That is E tau divided by M into E. Okay, I have taken only the magnitude of the drift velocity. Okay, fine. Now on solving, we get NA E square E tau over M. This is the expression for current in terms of relaxation time. Similarly, if you want to find out the expression for current in terms of mobility, what is mobility? Mobility can be defined as the drift velocity per unit electric field. Mobility is drift velocity per unit electric field. Here, if I substitute the value of Vd, see, I is equal to N A E square E tau divided by M. In this equation, what I will do, I will separate E tau divided by M. Then remaining thing, N A one small e. Okay. Therefore, so in place of E tau divided by M, we can write mu. Therefore, mu N A E. This is the expression for electric current in terms of mobility. Next, let's go to a new concept called current density. Current density. Current density is denoted by capital J, which is a vector quantity. Please remember, current density is a vector quantity. How to define this J means, it is very simple. Current flowing per unit area of a given conductor is said to be current density at that point. Okay, current density at a point in a conductor is said to be the amount of current flowing per unit area at that particular place. See, that is I divided by A. What is the SI unit for J? That is ampere per meter square. Now, if I take a conductor having irregular shape, irregular area of cross section, uneven area of cross section. Okay, see, here the area is A1, for example, here the area is A2. Okay, if I amount of current enters, then according to law of conservation of charge, the same current has to be exit, isn't it? Here the current density will be J1, here the current density will be J2. We know that I is equal to J into A, isn't it? Since I is constant here, so we can write J1 A1 is equal to J2 A2. So this is called equation of continuity. Equation of continuity in electricity. In electricity, J1 A1 is equal to J2 A2. This equation is called equation of continuity. You might have seen in case of mechanical properties of fluids chapter in class 11, A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. So that was the equation of continuity, isn't it? So water will come here and exit here. So area, here in place of J1 we wrote V1, correct? Here also A2 V2. Therefore A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2 was the equation of continuity. Here J1 A1 is equal to J2 A2. So a few minutes ago I have said about current density. It is a what? Vector quantity. How to represent the J in vector form means very simple. I is equal to J dot A. It is the dot product of two vectors. Okay. If you take an area like this, current is flowing, for example, in this way. Area vector is given by A. Okay. So theta. Component of A along this direction is A cos theta. Then under such condition, what we will write is I is equal to Ja cos theta. This is the amount of current flowing in horizontal direction. So like that, here in the vector form we can represent the current I is equal to J dot A. It is just like phi is equal to Ea cos theta. Okay, W is equal to Fs cos theta, like that. Okay, fine. Now let's move to very important law in current electricity, that too in case of DC, that is Ohm's law. Very important law. It is named after its inventor George Simon Ohm, who gives the idea about the current flowing through the conductor and the potential difference we have maintained in order to allow that current to pass through a given conductor. Okay, Ohm's law, it says that, see, if we consider a conductor in the form of a wire, if V1 is the potential at this point, V2 is the potential at this point. For the current to flow from this point to this point, what is the necessary condition? V1 has to be greater than V2. If V1 is equal to V2, then no current will flow, isn't it? So, in this way, he has given one statement. The current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends, provided the physical conditions like temperature, pressure, strain, etc. are kept constant. Very important and very simple statement. Please remember, Ohm's law states that the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to potential difference across its ends when the physical conditions like the temperature, pressure, strain, etc. are kept constant. That is, I is proportional to V. You can also write in this way, V is directly proportional to I, but actually this one is correct. It says that current flow will be decided by the potential difference. If we write this means it will be wrong because V depends on I. Atara barutte meaning. Therefore, actually I is proportional to V is the correct one. Here for simplicity, I have written like this. V is proportional to I. On removal of this symbol, we can put a constant, that is R, where R is called the resistance offered by the conductor. Resistance offered by the conductor. However, what is this resistance? Resistance is the property of a substance by virtue of which it opposes the flow of electrical charges through it. Okay, please remember, resistance means the opposition offered by the conductor for the flow of electrical current or for the flow of electrical charges through it. What is the main cause for this resistance? What is the main cause? Sir, why resistance comes to a conductor or any substance means we know that. So there is due to multiple collisions between two free electrons, or the electrons with the other atoms or ions present in the crystal, otherwise metal. Here resistance will come. Why resistance comes means whenever there is flow of electric current, then only we used to say R. Without I, we can't expect this R. So when current will flow means whenever there is a potential difference, then only the current starts to flow. When we can expect the potential difference? If we apply the electric field across its ends by using a battery, then only we can expect a potential difference. So in that way, so when a conductor is connected to a battery or external electric field, the electrons will drift in the direction opposite to electric field, that we know. During that drift, the electrons will undergo multiple collisions with the other electrons and the atoms present in the conductor. So that is the main cause for this resistance. Okay, so which factors will affect this resistance? Let us discuss about it later. Okay, now just concentrate on this Ohm's law. Ohm's law says that the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends when the physical conditions like temperature, pressure, etc. are kept constant. Okay, so after knowing this Ohm's law, let us discuss its limitations here itself. Very important question for 2 marks. Limitations of Ohm's law. Please remember, Ohm's law is applicable only for good conductors. Ohm's law is applicable only for good conductors. Second one, Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductor devices like thermistor, okay, vacuum tubes, etc. Third one, Ohm's law is applicable only when the physical conditions like temperature, pressure, strain, etc. are kept constant. And the fourth one, limitation of Ohm's law says that it is not applicable at very high temperature and very low temperature. These are the 4 major limitations of Ohm's law. Very important question. Please remember. First one, Ohm's law is applicable only for good conductors. Second one, it is not applicable for semiconductor devices like thermistors, vacuum tubes, etc. Third one, it is not applicable at very high temperature and very low temperature. And the fourth one we can take it as, so that it is applicable only when the temperature, pressure, strain, etc. are kept constant. Okay, so these are the main limitations of Ohm's law. Now, let us discuss about the resistance concept in detail. Okay, before going to that, so there are 2 types of devices actually, non-ohmic devices. Let's go through it first. Ohmic devices. Ohmic and non-ohmic devices. The devices which obey the Ohm's law are called ohmic devices, and the devices which do not obey the Ohm's law are called non-ohmic devices. Okay, the devices which obey Ohm's law are called ohmic devices. Example: ammeter, voltmeter, etc. All good conductors obey Ohm's law. Okay, for them, if we plot a graph of I versus V, actually this is the correct graph. I depends on V. Okay, how does I vary with V means in this way. What is the slope of this type of graph gives? Slope is tan theta, isn't it? Tan theta is opposite by adjacent. Opposite side is I, adjacent side is V. I by V is nothing but 1 by R. That is reciprocal of resistance. Please remember, the reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. Okay, the SI unit of resistance is ohm, whereas the SI unit of conductance is per ohm. Okay, otherwise Simon or mho, like that we represent. Okay, fine. Next, similarly, if you take V versus I graph, then also we would get a straight line, but here the slope gives us V by I. V by I is resistance. Okay, all ohmic devices obey this type of a graph. Okay, how about in case of non-ohmic devices? What are non-ohmic devices? The devices which do not obey the Ohm's law are called non-ohmic devices. Non-ohmic devices. Okay, fine. See here. For non-conductors, the graph will come like this. I versus V, or simply V versus I. For ohmic devices, the graph would have been like this, but here it takes slight deviation, or it may also represent like this. We can also represent like that. Okay, so either this one or this one we can take a graph of V versus I for non-conductors. For semiconductors, how does this graph looks like means, I will take I versus V graph only. Here we can expect the graph like this. Okay, so this is the graph of I versus V for semiconductors. So for gallium arsenide, which is used in LED, that is light emitting diode, how does this graph looks like means, I V, it will just like this. Okay, so these are the concepts of ohmic and non-ohmic devices. Okay, in the next class, let us discuss about the factors affecting resistance and the relation between conductivity and current density. Okay, so anyhow, so thank you for watching.